Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this brand new episode of Building Benny's Movie Park in Planet Coaster. Today, I'm hoping we can finish this entire little Hogsmeade area. Hogsmeade? Hogsmeade? I can waste a lot of words trying to explain what I'll do, but let's just do it. Let's not waste time, get straight to it. Do it? I think it's nice to first begin with the bar idea I mentioned in my previous video. As probably expected, the most logical thing to do with this is simply grabbing one of these big buildings again, this time flipping it around, and using that to create kind of the entrance of the bar. Though I must say, I think this one is a bit too high. Let's remove this layer and then simply make this go up slightly higher. Here you go. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. It's a bit too tall otherwise. So well, let's then shove it back into the floor. And then immediately an additional idea has occurred to me. Let's go and extend this building just until about here, I think. Not even further. Like that. And then what I'll try is this. I actually have no idea if this will look nice. Then back here, let's have a look. The ground is going to be a bit lower. I'm thinking this low, extending all the way just onto this little... Actually, wait, that should probably be path. First, however, let's work on the sides. This has to be filled in with an arch, and then we'll even add some more arches like this. I really doubt this is going to work. Temporarily, I will also close up these. You thought I'd connect them, but no. If this doesn't work, I will look like an absolute idiot. So please work. Or at least look nice, I guess, is more important. I will then grab this one. What am I doing right now? What is this? Identical thing on the other side. So now I have that. And it is not looking the way I thought it was going to look. Quick change of plans. I am gonna actually fill this up completely. I don't know why I thought the hole in between would be a good idea. Just selecting all of this and moving it around like that. No problem. You saw nothing. Actually, no, never mind. No, it was fine. Because look, we can simply do this. I am kind of messing it up, but you get the idea. This has crazy potential, guys. Only thing is, what are we going to do with the roof? I did not think of that, because we can't leave it flat. That is kind of lame. Inside of this, we obviously need path as well, because this will have people in it. At least that's the idea. Let me just put some of these down here. And I am really just praying. Yes! Wow. Okay. Damn. Okay, so I said I wasn't gonna build a restaurant here, but I'm thinking maybe we should turn this into a restaurant slash bar. Only thing is, I do not know how this works. I have never used this kind of thing before. I mean, we can put it in one of these over there. Ah, that table. Okay. Ah, that's pretty sweet. It does seem a bit small for a kitchen, but I guess it's not my problem. So the tables I will then connect later. First, we need some more path. The stamp tool is slowly becoming my favorite way to add path, because it is just like it's very satisfying too. I'm not sure if this is going to remain straight like that, but what I hope I can do now is just remove one of them and then use this to just beautifully... Where has the... What just happened? Let me just try that again here. 1 and 2. That is so perfect. I love it. Okay, so then allow me to just put this wall back in, and also that one. I'm not sure yet. This does feel a bit cramped for a kitchen. I suggest what I'll do is this. I don't know how I'm gonna make that look nice later, but that is also a problem for later. Here you go. We can add like toilets or something over there. Oh, look at that. You can even change the color. Well, then let's try and match it with the rest, something like this. We'll see later on. For the interior first, the exterior. Bit off topic, maybe, but let's add another one of these buildings over here. I really want this to be just like one round, you know, plaza with a bunch of buildings around it, as if you're really in the middle of a village. And well, that means adding a bunch of these on the sides and then also making that look nice on the other side later on. For now, we're just gonna make sure all the walls go down all the way. Got me thinking though, this just now, actually the toilets should probably go here instead. Right there, fits like a glove. And then there's the kitchen. And then a bunch of tables really go on this terrace here, which is not yet finished. I've got an idea though, to make this look really nice and clean. I'll just grab a curved path over here. That is a big terrace, but it could be cool. And then manually, using the path editor, we can make this really clean and curved and fancy. There, I think that's pretty decent. And the same thing over here. See if this rounding tool works for once. Not super great. And as always, if you want it to look nice, you gotta do it yourself. Still not amazing, but I do think we can fix that with a structure around. And let's get rid of these planks. Yeah, that is decent. And once again, allow me to kind of fix the ground underneath. This is gonna be like wood, I think. Oh, so it doesn't really matter that much. Over here, it'll be like a big cliff, like a rock cliff. Nice. And then up here, I actually have no idea what's gonna happen yet. Then now, let's go in here and do add tables. We can just choose from the standard ones, it seems, which are gonna fit the nicest with this theme. Pretty normal ones. We've got, I think these are decent. So let's have a look. It doesn't really matter much yet because we can always adjust these later. But here, just like so, I'll fill up this edge with tables. Also one in this tiny little corner here could be nice. There you go. Already looks nice. And I'm assuming we can just open it now. I'm curious if there's actually going to be people here soon. It's still not really that busy here. In fact, there is not a single person. What happened? Anyway, first, let's now spice up the construction underneath the terrace. To start off, first, I think these kind of walls would look really cool around this edge. And then right above, we can maybe add some plants and bushes and whatnot. Or even just some buildings. I actually don't know yet. We'll see. Hey! There's yes! Oh, that's great. I can already tell we're gonna need some trash cans. Let me just do that right now before they litter all over the place. I'm gonna use the same one again, this one. I will put one right here, right there, and just in between every 2 tables here. And let's also put one here so that, well, you can never be too sure. Look, and then my guess was to, over here on this edge, just do something like this. Is that gonna work? No, that is not great. In that case, we're gonna need bushes. Please look nice. I really need this to work. Let's place it down. I guess that's fine. It's maybe not as nice as I had hoped, but it will have to do. My original idea was to add like a wooden structure underneath. I feel like it would match nicely with whatever is going to come underneath these paths. And we have a bunch of stone already, so I think it'd be a good change of pace. Only thing is, how are we going to do it? It makes me think, though, we should probably do something very different for the texture, like this. Wooden, of course. I mean, this is maybe not... I do like it, but also not. Is there no other wood? I mean, that is horrendous. Ugh. I do prefer this more than what it used to be, so I guess let's do it. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to start with just a very simple, basic wooden structure. Something like this. And then really simply just adding some detail to it to make it look a bit more interesting than it does now. And that is just a question of finding cool-looking wooden pieces. I don't know, man. I'm not sure about this. It's looking a bit, strange. Maybe instead of completely made out of wood, we need some stone elements. For example, what if I just grab this piece again and wrap that around the edge, which is definitely going to take a second at this rate, but I think it will look just a bit nicer. Oh, look at that. This woman is just as single as I am. But look, kind of like this. And then we shove this underneath. Is that nice? That's the question. I think it might work. Because you're gonna have to put a few of these in here to see if it does look nice. There's no other way.
Eventually.
I'm not gonna lie. Once again, I keep saying it, but not my favorite thing. It's not bad. It's just nothing really that special. Although the fact is that below it, there's pretty much nothing going on either. So let's try and see what happens if we do add some rocks, maybe. There have been very few cases in which rocks weren't the answer. So let's just get right to it then, eh? This always just adds definition to the landscape, which is much needed here. Yes, definition, that's the right word. Even over here on the side as well, just really big rocks piled up to make this look like an actual big rock formation rather than just a flat landscape, because we do not love that. This is already... wow. That is a lot better, yeah. That is actually crazy how much better that is. And what is always going to be an option is using trees again, especially here, because we need to make this forest fade out into this. Meaning we can't have like a super sharp transition from trees to no trees. Have to make that nice and clean. We can of course use terrain for that as well. Here you go, some mossy areas, especially down the base here. Oh, now that is nice too. Just all around here, a bit of a green spot over there. Yes. Then I'll also grab the good old ferns to pop. Hello? To pop over here, and you already know it, the small ones here as well in between to really fill that up. Once again, by far one of my favorite things to do. I think we can even get away with a few of these bushes in between the rocks here underneath. Otherwise it might feel a bit too dead. Here you go, just nice and subtle. And then if we zoom out, now we are talking. This, oh, that is the great stuff. Much better. So then we definitely need a fence on this too. We don't want people yeeting off. So let's see which ones are nice. That is a bit too high. This is cool, but it's a bit too tropical. Wait a second. What about this? Is that the... Oh. How did I not think of this before? That is so much easier. It is not perfectly straight though, because, well, the curve isn't that perfect, but that just saved a ton of time. Is it nice? I'm not actually sure. I suppose we can do this one as well. It's a bit different. To be fair, it doesn't really matter. It's all kind of the same effect anyway. Actually, first though, cappuccino! Anyway, guys, I want you guys to know something. I am not super happy with this entire area, especially this. The more I look at it, the more I think about it, it's just a mess. There's so much stuff going on. Buildings, supports, coasters, trees. The trees in general, I feel like are probably the worst. What happens if I just remove those? Let's see. Here you go. Is this better? Actually, that might be better. That is better. Or is it not? I don't know. Guys, let's look at it this way. This is more of a base we can work off of. That might change, change later on depending on what you guys want and what I want and just new ideas we may have. Obviously, this will always be this kind of village type effect thing, but besides that, we can change anything. I am... This is going so well. I am just not loving all of this. There's something off about it, and it's distracting me for some reason. So if you have any ideas what could be wrong with this besides the obvious, then let me know down below. In general, if you have ideas, let me know down below. Then now, let us continue. Okay, guys, I accidentally locked in and I built a bunch of stuff off screen. I did not mean to do this, but it just kind of happened. Over here, as you can see, this whole section is now filled up with rocks, with trees, vegetation, and here some more houses. I don't know why, I just got really into it and just kind of kept going and forgot that I should have been recording all that. I mean, it's nothing new, of course. It's just the same stuff as always. But then also, these supports are now done. I even added this entire tube along the track to make it a bit more stable because I felt it wasn't quite strong enough otherwise. Because I do actually love the way that looks. It's very cool, very sturdy. It just makes it look a bit more unique as well. But, so yes. I did that off screen. I also put this tiny arch here, which is just a wall with a quick roof on it. And this one, which in my opinion makes it feel a bit cleaner, which is much needed. So yes, from here we just have to continue basically. And one thing I saw a member comment recently is maybe I could try changing this support, or at least the house underneath, so the support is attached to the top of the building instead, like the actual roof. Let's see if we can make that work somehow. So first I will copy the roof over like this. And instead of making that like a solid building, what if we did something like this, where you can just kind of walk underneath? Only this is not super nice now. I have an idea. Let's get rid of this stall inside of it and instead put that in here. Look, just like that. Yeah, that seems better. And then we can just close this one up completely. We'll decorate that later. So, yes. Then we simply have to do this exact same thing on the other side of the roof. Wait a minute. I think I have a better idea. Why don't we try wood instead? Because then we can just turn this into another one of those really nice looking wooden structures. We can then also just leave the original stone in place. That's great. First, however, this was kind of the whole point. We can now make this straight. Let's push this down and extend this one so it matches. See, that sure as hell looks a lot more stable. That is objectively better. Hey, there's wanted posters. That is cool. If we just pretend like this is Sirius Black, it should have been escaped, of course, but it's close enough. We can add some of these kind of footers here. That Western pack really is a game changer. This is crazy. A ton of these wooden beams are important. If we ever want this to look nice and finished at least. Oh, and this looks pretty cool as well, actually. This would have probably looked a little bit better if there weren't so many ropes, but unfortunately we don't have any of these without the ropes, so this will have to do. And to be fair, it does look really nice. I like that. Is it accurate with what this is supposed to be? No. Do I look like I care? It doesn't make sense anyway that Hogsmeade is here because it's supposed to be much further away. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It looks nice. It's not like it's completely non-Harry Potter-ish in style. It's still not... I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking now. Then now, something we haven't been paying attention to whatsoever are lanterns, benches, stuff like that. And also, the whole entrance to this section is just a staircase. And I noticed this thing, which... I mean, it's pretty lame that it's pre-made, but it does look nice. If you just put one of those right here and just change the color of that to brown and maybe even one up here too, just like this. Do you think that's nice? It's kind of nice. We can add maybe like a wall around this, I'm not sure. And I also saw there were hanging signs here. So maybe using this, we can add like Hogsmeade to this sign. I'll just pop some text on there and have that say... Hogsmeade. That is surprisingly nice. I like it. On second thought though, this one is maybe a bit weird. Out of place. I'm not sure what we'll do here yet. Maybe like a cool gate. I'm not sure. Anyway, then for some lanterns, I thought we also had new lanterns. That is already very, very close. I just wish it had more lanterns on it. Do we not have just like an empty pole instead? And there's this, but that is not really... what I mean. What I do see is this thing, which is just perfect. And on that, we can simply hang a regular looking lamp. Luckily, we have a few different ones, so we can even just choose. For example, I also really like this one. Really, every single house needs at least one or preferably a few of these lanterns. All different styles to add some variety. Here you go. I love these. Really makes it come even more alive. These are slightly bigger and have more of a flame, but I quite like that, especially for these entrance areas. Look at, oh, yes, very nice. Then we just need some standing lanterns. I'm thinking these are a bit too boring, too basic, but I'm also pretty sure this one, yeah, this doesn't match. Why does that not match? Otherwise, I could have put like 3 on it, like this. And you can't change the color either. That is too bad. Would have been cool. Now that I'm looking at this though, can't we just move this a bit further away and just connect it that way? I feel like we can get away with this because now it is attached over here and over there. And of course down below. Because this is definitely a lot less distracting without the giant support in the way. That is much better. Much better. But I keep getting sidetracked from this. How are we gonna do this? Maybe we can try this. I don't think it'll look very nice because it's not really black. You just cannot change the rusty look. I don't know why, but we cannot match the colors of those. This looks... ugh. I will just be using this one. It is fine. We mostly want to have them on this platform here, as you can see. And I also already want 2 of them at the entrance and then probably along this path too, but that comes later. What is also important is these lanterns on the bar itself, on both the interior and exterior. I have also just decided that these 2 things have to go because it looks ass. Instead, I'm going to put some more, you know, in theme elements on here. Not that this is necessarily that much better, but at least it's not super colorful, which I believe to be part of the reason why this whole area looks so incredibly messy. Let's be real, this looks incredible. It's maybe not super fitting, but I like it. See, because look, now when you zoom out, that is a lot less distracting. Only thing is the shop itself, but I don't think you can change the counter color. However, we can, of course, just try and cover it up. Would you look at that? There you go. Now we're talking. Yes. Very good. Okay, so these 2 I don't mind because they're underneath this, meaning from afar, it's not that distracting at all. And if you're walking here, it's actually quite nice and colorful. So I will keep these, except maybe not this one. Do we have any other nice looking ones? What's this? That's not really... this one's really gonna depend on the coloring. Can we make that black? There's always gonna be some green rust. That's not so nice. I keep finding new things. I did not know this was a thing. That makes it look so much better. And there's all sorts of different ones as well. And this, look at that. Crikey, I'm a noob. Well, we can even put some of these signs here, even though this doesn't technically make sense. Well, it could. It's a cocktail. I think this one over here will do just fine. Let's pop that on. Yes, that is quite good. Then, very important too, the benches I talked about. As of now, we don't have a single one, and it is very important to have some. These are just absolutely gorgeous. Let's put some of these on this edge, even though I keep saying it. I don't know what's gonna be here yet, but I suppose it doesn't really matter. Here, a bench for the people waiting on the toilets. And especially this is a perfect spot for 2 benches. And then this can go right next to it. I do think that it's now time to finally extend these walls, these houses, to make sure we know what actually is going on here. A very important step in that is adding another one of these buildings right on top of this entrance. Because guess what? We do need an entrance for this swinging ship. And I think this will do just that. Let me just get rid of this. And that wall as well. The floor even can go. And then we simply put an entrance on it. Or an arch. Instead is a bit better, I think. The actual sign for the entrance we'll make later, because that is in the same video as decorating the actual ride itself. What I do need right now is something in between these 2 buildings, which to begin with we can do with another house. We create one of these kind of merged houses. That works beautifully. And then in between these 2, I simply will put a wall. I will make a simple wall segment like this. Make that go all the way down, actually. Put some windows on it for decoration, and then hopefully we can just copy it around. The only question is, how nice will it connect to this building? Because, oh well, we'll just try and see how far we can get. See, this is pretty clean. It will look ass on the back. Don't worry. It was never going to be this easy. It never is. It would have been awesome, though. But, look, it's not actually that distracting, but it's just not very nice. To be fair, or is it? I don't know. Guys, I think I fixed it. Don't question it, just believe it. As you can see, that is perfect. Okay, then let's just finish that up, connecting it exactly to the inside wall. See, that is really nice and clean. And then I'll grab the same thing again and move it to here. I was hoping I could maybe reuse it. Question is, will it fit? Per usual, there is only one way to find out what the nicest look would be. Kind of goes around. I think this might fit. Then there is just the question of, will it look good in the end? But I will just put them in, and we can always get rid of them later. That is kind of how this whole episode has been going, trying something out and just praying it actually works. Hell, why don't we finish it with one of these buildings? Just putting that in place here. Do you think that's nice? Just placing it down. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice, but also not. Do we keep it? It does make it look like an enclosed village, which is exactly what I meant for it to do. Also, this part looks quite good. In general, from the coaster, that is such a cool view. I don't know. Like, wait a minute. What if I do that exact thing, except put it in this orientation? Just ignore the details. Would this be better? I think so. I think that is a lot better, actually. Yeah, from here as well. Let's do that. Just have to get rid of this window, because that doesn't really make sense anymore. And also this, once again, is red. Seems a bit lame. I think we should do some sort of purple shade. That seems pretty Harry Potter-like as well. And for the most beautiful finishing touch, another one of these chimneys. And again, some smoke emitters inside of them. I really think that is what this needed. For some reason, I like it so much more now. But then also, something I thought I should try is kind of playing around with the ground texture. The reason for that is basically from above, it looks the same as the rest, which makes it not really a different section. It's not like the dirt path over here. It really makes it look like a different area. And so, I mean, this is horrendous. But what else do we have? I mean, I don't like the color. There's dirt. Is way too clean. Cobblestone path. Is this new? Or have I just not been paying attention? Besides the fact if it's nice or not, it does make it like a different thing, which is exactly what I want. This is just maybe a bit too dark. It looks a bit too close to the wood. Only thing is, I'm afraid that's the best other option. Otherwise it's this, which is definitely not it. It's way too bright. Again, it does make it look nicer due to the difference in texture. I hate that we can't change the color of each of these, because this would have been fine as well. except it's way too light and there's wood. Makes no sense. Maybe we get some new ones in the future. If we do, we can always see what happens then. This does give it that village kind of effect, which is much needed. I don't know, guys. I quite like this. I just don't like it from above. That's the whole thing. I keep looking at this from above, when really you should be looking at it from the actual guest's perspective. If you do that, all of this immediately looks 20 times better. Oh. Oops. We'll fix that in a sec. So you go here, you see all of these nice houses. Look, this is nice. I like the way this looks. For now, I'll keep it this, I think. This is better. Just gonna make sure this is also that same dark texture, I think. There you go. So the whole thing is nice and consistent. And well, for now, at least to finish off the basic layout of the whole thing, I will also put one of these houses on this section, because I believe that closes up the whole thing completely. Yes, this really does feel like the last final bits to finish this up, even though I think we're still missing some details in places, but this is really nice. Then I'll make sure the path isn't too far straight away from that edge. The final chimneys on these roof elements. And then what this will all come down to is adding props, little details, little elements to really finish this up. That starts with the obvious elements, such as these lampposts, of course. Then I want some more benches as expected as well. Just around this edge is a good spot for it. Okay, holy shit. I changed my mind. This actually looks sick. It's still messy, but it's good messy, I think. It started looking a bit too messy, like bad messy. But now that I've got rid of the trees here and just made it all a bit, you know, more enclosed, I am starting to really dig this. Still, there are some open areas such as this. I'm not sure what to do with that. Maybe just some grass and flowers. I don't know. We technically don't have a lot of that yet, so I think we could try it here. Let's first use some of these bushes, see what happens. This is basically the piece I want, except then grass, like tall grass. Imagine being able to put grass on it like so and it being 3D. Oh, I need that. That would be a total game changer. Then I think maybe these could work well again. And we can even change the colors of the flowers. Isn't that... Oh, that's nice. Dude, look at that. That's so cute. A nice splash of color in there. And that's decent. For now, I would say it's maybe a bit lame, a bit boring, but for now it's fine until we have something better. It's pretty nice. Maybe we can add some props to it. I don't know. However, all the tiny details, such as, I don't know, like props on these kinds of areas, the detailed interior of restaurants, the signs for the rides here, maybe some junk on the sides, that I won't do today yet, because my time is up for today, unfortunately. I am just very happy that it's looking like a decent area now. Like, it's not one big mess. It is actually nice looking, detailed, and well, it just makes sense now. So I'm happy about that, especially if you're walking here. This is just nice. You can just look across there, see the coaster come by, order a bunch of food. You can sit here. You can even go here, even though there's nothing yet, but and well, it is simply looking really cozy, really nice, and I'm curious to see what we can add still. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video, and then I hope I'll see you in the next episode of Building Benny's Movie Park.